Howdy, folks. Welcome back to Reading Held Hostage. My name's Blue, and I love to read.
And my name's Justin, and I freaking don't like that. It's just not for me.
Just not for you?
No.
It's okay. You're kind of a lame loser, though.
What?
Only big, strong, buff people read.
I'm pretty big and buff, and I don't read, so that's not true.
Today, Justin, we are going to start breaking down, and this is our third part of breaking down. It kind of feels like it's moving really fast.
Yeah.
For me, at least. How are you feeling?
How many more parts would you estimate?
3.
3 more? Okay. That's not what I wanted to hear, but...
It's not what I want to hear either. Steph was like, I don't know, let's make the last book literally like 29 chapters when the first 3 were like 30 maximum. I meant 39. Did I say 39?
Yeah, you said 30. You said 29.
I meant 39. So it's been a lot. It's kind of boring. But today what I think we're going to do is we're going to finish up Jake's perspective and we're going to hop back into Bella's.
My good friend Jake.
And if you've seen the movies.
I have not.
But you know what's going to come.
Razzle Dazzle?
Yeah. The old Razzle Dazzle is going to pop out. And Jacob is gonna
does his
imprint on a literal newborn. I'll have a lot to say about that.
Does he watch her coming out like hell yeah?
No. We'll go through it, but that's gonna happen. Unfortunately for all of us, yeah. I don't want that to happen. Do you want that to happen?
No. I was thinking back about when we were doing the Warrior Cats podcast.
Mm-hmm. Well, the first 10 episodes are Warrior Cats.
Yeah.
9.
You know, the podcast about Warrior Cats.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't talk about a lot of fucked up shit in those books.
You thought they were bad.
They were bad.
Yeah.
But they didn't have the needs for trigger warnings like we do now.
Yeah, that's true. They were like kind of bloody and stuff.
Yeah. And
those next couple chapters are going to be bloody because, you know, she's going to give birth and that's never pretty. Birthday. It's going to be her birthday. But yeah, I think we should just get into it. Because you've got ice cubes again.
No.
Justin was like, no, I don't want to talk about her drinks. I was like, maybe you shouldn't have gotten, again, a metal cup with a bunch of ice cubes in it. So I'm drinking a regular seltzy. I opened it up today, fresh. Popped the bubbles out of it. And now I'm drinking a seltzer.
So a flat seltzer.
It will soon be flat, yeah. Okay, so it's raspberry
flavored water.
Yeah, with alcohol in it. What are you drinking?
Old fashioned again.
Okay. Are you ready? Tell me what happened last time.
Started eating cream cheese.
No, in the book.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
What?
What happened last time in the book?
It's like butter, but cheese.
Justin, what happened in the book?
Oh.
I'm huffing and puffing, man.
Yeah?
I'm getting a new co-host.
Yeah?
Yeah.
One that pays attention,
at least a little bit. Pays attention at least, like, I'm not asking for much.
Yeah.
I'm really not. Jacob left his pack because he's the alpha.
And he's so buff now. And
he was already pretty buff.
And the little one and the sister joined him.
Seth and Leah. Mm-hmm. And we learned that Leah has sad backstory.
Yeah.
Edward wants to die. And Bella's pretty fucking chill. She's actually really not that bad.
Yeah, she chilling with it?
Well, I mean, she's got like the pregnancy hormones too. And I imagine with this magic world, they're like way more intense.
Would you say hormones?
What?
Like
no.
Pregnancy?
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't
Hormones.
actually. I wouldn't.
Hormones.
But we're starting today on chapter 15. So Jacob is back at the house because last time round, do you remember he went looking for somebody to fall in love with and he didn't? Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
Oh my. And was that what happened last?
I don't. Yeah, I don't.
That doesn't ring a bell to you at all?
At all. But
Okay. That's because that didn't happen yet.
oh, okay. Cool. So I was right about one thing.
So will you edit that out?
I'm not editing that out. That's staying in. Blue
Let me figure out where he was. Are you kidding me? You know how much Twilight I have in my brain right now? It's like
1 part work, 1 part Twilight, 10 parts crochet.
Yeah, pretty much.
Blue,
okay.
Blue has decided to make 5 giant blankets?
2, 3. Don't say who they're for
Christmas.
Yeah, for the holiday season, I've been asked to make 3. I didn't measure them, but they're significant. They're big.
Yeah, they're not little throw blankets for sure.
No, they should be big enough for like a queen to king size bed.
Oof.
Yeah.
So
okay.
she big crocheting.
I remember where we were.
Okay.
The Jared, Colin, and them were talking to Jake.
Okay. He would have been Jared.
So Jake comes back to the house, and there's a bunch of clothes that somebody laid out, and he's glad to have clothes, even though they're stinky vampire clothes, because he is homeless now, and he's like, it's nice to have something to my name.
Yeah.
He enters the Collins house, and the room has changed already from the hospital-like room it was before to more of like an actual living room. Do you remember before it was like...
Yeah.
Okay. And Bella's on the couch. She's like just covered in blankets like a burrito, which like 100% I feel her. Jacob's kind of uncomfortable with how like admiringly and lovingly she looks at him. And like Edward can hear like this whole thing going on in Jacob's head. And he's kind of like... like, I too am uncomfortable with that. They're just like a lot of like looks in this round. And Edward had heard the whole like talk between the packs, and because he's getting a lot more familiar with Jacob in Jacob's mind. So Bella's worried about how sleepy Jacob looks. Goes to sleep outside.
Little dog.
Little sleepy dog. He goes to sleep outside before he like makes fun of Rosalie like a lot because she's blonde, like blonde jokes. Him and Rose are not like kind to each other. Rose is really mean to him too.
Yeah, but still. Is it because she's racist?
I don't think she's racist.
She's pretty old. They all could easily be super racist.
Yeah, but as we know, being born in the times does not give you the excuse to be racist.
No, it doesn't. But
I mean, fucking Jasper
it's
was
a higher probability.
It is a higher probability. And Jasper was a flippin'... Oh, we're not supposed to curse for YouTubes. Was a Confederate soldier,
How far are we in?
About 8 minutes. I think we're fine now, right?
Yeah, we can say fuck.
Poo.
Oh, Blue! That was way worse than what I said.
Edward has come to speak to Jacob on Esme's behalf because she feels absolutely terrible about the hardships that, her family has unwillingly put them through, such as like the homeless part. He offers them like really good human food. From his understanding via the thoughts that he can hear, is that Leah doesn't like to eat in wolf form. And they also have clothes and lots of other stuff to offer them.
She has another salad and is about to throw it on the fucking floor if you don't take it.
Rose. Edward asked Jacob to not consider his pack without the benefit of a home, which I think is pretty sweet. What?
That sentence was just phrased weird.
I know it. That's how it was in the book too. But you get it. Like he's like, you guys aren't homeless.
As long as we're together, my heart's your home.
Edward doesn't have a heart. Well, he does, but it doesn't beat. I feel the heartbeat to the beat of the... Remember that?
The song, yeah.
Well, like, I don't want to say the, like, Skateland vibes.
What?
Okay.
Castle... Okay.
Well, I didn't want to dox ourselves by saying the whole name of the thing, so...
We don't live there anymore. We don't live in Castle Skateland anymore.
I wish I lived in Castle Skateland. Before poor Sleepy, like he is sleepy. It's been like 50 hours since he has slept. Bella yells and he goes back in because Carlisle has heard something crack and the baby has broken another bone or two. Mm-hmm. And then Jacob is too sleepy and he just like falls to the ground. Like, when you're just like, your body's like, you're kind of done. His like legs start giving out and he slides to the ground in the front room. And Alice joins him. She's been getting these headaches because she can't see the fetus. But hanging around Jacob makes them go away. So she's like, do you mind if I just like sit here? He's like, I literally could care less.
I couldn't ask you to leave at this point either.
Yeah. And he falls asleep. And when he wakes up, Rose is there and he can smell lots of food. Seth is inside chilling with the vampires, eating like a really nice looking breakfast, which actually makes me really hungry.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of hungry. And Seth is like kind of cuddling, like has an arm around Bella because Bella got cold, and Jacob's getting jealous for literally no fucking reason.
Dude, he's just like, if they had a heating blanket, this wouldn't be happening.
Literally.
Like,
why don't they have a heating blanket?
Someone
That's a great
run
point,
to
baby.
Target or Walgreens real quick. And
I guess they would have to go up to the nearest big city, but it's also like, and
I bet that somewhere in that fucking
little town in Forks.
Yeah, there's a heating blanket somewhere.
I don't know.
It's in Washington.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like Targets barely have heating blankets. Like they only have the one.
Yeah, but
Amazon. They could have gotten Amazon.
Jeffrey Bezos would give you a heating blanket.
Yeah, for your vampire baby.
Mm-hmm,
He's probably got one running around somewhere too. Sorry, Jeff. That's a lie.
No, he has a space one. That's why he's doing all the rockets.
A space baby.
Yeah. Baby.
Baby. Seth is in new clothes, and Jacob's getting kind of fussy, but he's just gonna go eat as a wolf. But before he leaves, Carlisle's like, hey, like, we need to go hunting. Like, what do we do? I'm like really worried about you guys having the possibility of fighting your family, like your other pack. So he's like, we really just want to avoid that as much as possible. Like, let us know where we can go.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Okay, so they're worried that they're going to run into the other werewolves.
Yeah, so they're like, Carlisle's like, Jacob, we need to hunt, but we want to avoid your family. Can you, like, perimeter and check where we can
go in the opposite direction of...
Literally.
Like, okay, the tribe's over there.
We'll go south.
We'll go the opposite way.
It's not like territories tend to be like a more or less circle type thing. It's not like it's like a one line forever.
Yeah.
It's like just go around their territory.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean?
Like they can tell where they are too. Like,
yeah, through
smell and sound and whatever.
Yeah.
Vampire shit they got.
Yeah.
Go the opposite way.
Literally go the other way. Before Jacob leaves, Esme offers him some food, and he's really uncomfortable with her sweetness and hospitality. He's like, they're really impeding my ability to hate vampires. And they're just like so nice. Bella wants him there, but he just like is way uncomfortable, so he decides to leave.
Which is cool.
Yeah. Healthy choice, but still he got jealous when Seth was like keeping Bella warm. It's like, fucking chill.
Yeah.
Chill.
Again, a space heater.
Yeah.
Anything like
Chapter 15. Jacob's vibing alone before Seth like gets up, and Jacob starts thinking about how like it's good to just chill by himself, and how he's confused about how strange it is that Leah is not as terrible as he thought she was. He's just doing some introspection.
So he just hated this bitch for no reason? Or?
Yeah, duh! Everybody hated Leah for no reason.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, they had their reasons, but to me, it wasn't. Yeah, pretty much. Seth and Jacob, like, Seth wakes up and they start, like, they're thinking and talking about how the Cullens have to go hunting because Carlisle has to get more medical equipment, and they were planning on moving to a different house, but, like, the medical equipment can't be moved so rapidly. And Seth is just, like, so sweet and concerned about Bella, like, and her safety and all that.
He just seems like a good dude.
He really does, because he's like, Jay, apparently the baby broke another one of Bella's ribs. And then Seth, like, enters, like, full report mode.
Also, what is that baby doing so high up there?
In the rib cage?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a big baby. Like, it's, like, not the size of a normal baby.
What's that baby doing up there?
Seth enters report mode and tells Jacob that Bella was able to talk to Charlie, which freaks Jacob out because, like, they're like, why are we starting to talk to Charlie when we're going to kill Bella off here soon? Which makes sense.
Yeah.
And Seth is just, like, such a sweet boy. And he's like, it could be okay. Like, Bella might not die. Which is just, like, I don't know. He's just such a good boy.
Yeah.
Anyways, Jake argues with him that even if she doesn't die from the baby, she will eventually be turned into a vampire, which might as well be death.
Which is technically true.
Yeah. And Seth tells him that Bella has been asking for him at the house. And, you know, he arrives to the Cullen house and Bella is just, like, okay.
Bella Hadid?
No, Bella Swan.
Oh.
Have you been picturing Bella Hadid this whole time?
This whole time.
Ugh. That's why the height differences didn't freak you out.
Yeah.
Because Bella Hadid is 5'10".
Yeah. Oh, clicky-clack keyboard going off for some reason. I don't know why.
5'9". She's 5'9".
Oh.
Taller than Zac Efron.
Taller than Zac Efron.
Edward's on the couch with his head in his hands. Esme is next to him comforting him because clearly something is wrong. Rose is like a big bitch to Jacob and they have like general grouchiness. But Bella is like so fucking excited to see Jacob, which makes Jacob really uncomfortable and he sits next to her on the couch and warms her up. And
Again,
Alice,
being a space heater.
Yeah.
Nothing
more than that.
Yeah. You're only close to her because she is cold.
Yeah. And Alice suggests Rose. A lot of S's there for me.
Take another one.
Another what?
Take another one from the top.
Alice suggests Rose get Jacob something to eat. And Jake is like...
that wasn't very smooth. One more time.
That's what you get. And Jake is like, wow, she's totally going to spit in my food. And Alice like, there is no way she would embarrass Esme by doing that. But Jacob like looks at Edward and he's like, you'll tell me if she poisoned it, right? And Edward just gives like a nod. He's like, yeah, don't worry.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Rose has the best fucking comeback because she brings him this like, you know, like a big ass metal mixing bowl, but she pulled the top down so it looks like a dog food bowl. And she scratched Fido into it. And it has like steak and potatoes. And he's just like, fuck yeah. He's like, this will piss her off even more. And he eats it with his hands out of the bowl. He's like, yum, this is delicious, Rose. Thank you.
Yeah.
Which I think both of those responses are cute.
Yeah.
They do small talk and Jacob asks how long until the baby's due. And
they're like, no fucking clue, dog.
Well, they have some clue.
No fucking clue because it's been 3 weeks.
It's a fucking demon baby.
Yeah.
But Carlisle's a doctor and he loves science. Her belly is about 30 centimeters.
Do you think he has a bumper sticker that says I heart science?
Oh my god, I sure hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. On his, like, whatever his fucking fancy-ass car is.
Yeah. His Volvo.
He doesn't have a Volvo.
What's the fucking point of doing this podcast if we're not going to talk about sexy Volvos?
Sexty? Okay, Bella's belly is 30 centimeters. And she's been getting about 2 centimeters every day. And for some reason, they're like, they say it like it's complete fact and there's no other way around it. And as we know, for anybody who gives birth, you know, things can happen. You can go...
Shit changes all the time.
Yeah, so they say that at about, you know, 38 to 40 centimeters is when you will be giving birth. In, like, roundness of your stomach. Which is the possibly the least accurate way I can think about doing
For
that.
sure.
Like
100%. That doesn't feel right at all.
100% differently. She's having a demon baby.
I mean, people show differently from pregnancy to pregnancy.
Yeah, from multiples to singles. Like
yeah, like the same person will show different.
Yeah.
It's
what a bad. But I get that Carlisle's like, this is literally my only way to guesstimate.
Yeah.
But that chucks down to her having about 4 more days.
Okay.
And Jacob's just sitting there agonizing about how this is happening while Edward is reading his mind and also stressing. But Bella's very optimistic about the birth and her becoming a vampire. And she's glad Jacob's in there and she's like, everything is complete. My life is complete and my family is complete. Jacob gets mad because why wouldn't he?
Yeah, it's kind of his
MO at this point.
It's kind of his like whole situation. Like he is dealing with this pregnancy, and it's kind of his like burden. Yeah, and something he's going through.
Well, Justin, something we need to take into consideration is that men struggle with pregnancy too.
Yeah,
it's really hard for the men involved.
It's kind of the hardest for the men.
Just as hard, if not harder.
Yeah. Boo, your grin is just...
The only reason I'm like thinking like Maybe we should cut that out. It's because there's people who actually believe shit like that. I'm sorry, but people who give birth, strongest people out there. Can't
braver
fight me
than
on that,
troops.
honestly. Where am I?
What is like the only thing I can think of that's like something that like actually affects men with pregnancy is like sympathy weight.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, there's
people who are assholes when they're pregnant, for sure.
Mental health issues that come along with it just as, well, not just as frequent as women's.
Frequently, but not just as frequent, yeah.
But, no.
There's people who believe it.
As a pregnancy person, there's a lot of shit that can fuck you up.
Yeah. And reading Am I the Asshole reminds me that there are people who truly, truly believe that shit.
But physically and mentally. It's like...
Okay. Bella ends up falling asleep, and Jacob and Edward talk, and Edward is, like, clearly so scared and worried, and so is Jacob. But... Squirried. Edward tells him that Bella is fully convinced that she will survive the delivery as a vampire. But she's still wanting to see Charlie afterwards, which infuriates Jacob. And that would probably piss me off too, because he's like an uncle to Jacob.
But also, like, can't she turn? Oh, no.
She looks different. She'll have red eyes, you know, like, she'll move different. Her voice sounds different, even.
Yeah.
Where are we? Edward says that Jasper and Emmett have been doing research, like...
Just tell him you're doing meth. Sorry, I got a meth addiction now.
Well, she wouldn't have all of her teeth, probably.
She got veneers.
You're making me lose my spot. Jasper and Emmett have been doing research like crazy to figure out, like, what myths are for this type of thing. And Edward, so far, claims there have been no survivors, like, from the myths they've read.
But also, like, there has to be a good amount of cases of this.
There's definitely what they say, like, succubus, and then they have another word that I can't remember, but it's, like, more so a part of the feast. There's, like, the sexual part and then the feast. There's not really, like, the sexual part, and then, you know, you wait until the baby is born.
Yeah.
You just fucking kill him.
Yeah, that's true.
And Rose comes in and claps back. And she's like, yeah, of course there have been no survivors. Most women don't survive childbirth back in that day. Like, most people back then were killed for simple medical reasons that we can fix up now nice and easy, which is a good point.
Not good hand washing. Like,
literally. I mean, all of them were alive to see the transition from hand washing to not hand washing.
Yeah. Or the other way.
From not hand washing to, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we got that shit down, and then we're like, never mind.
Yeah. Oop. Sorry.
No more hand washing.
I really like it when my patients see how nasty and disgusting my white coat is.
Yeah, that's kind of a symbol of honor.
So Rose gets mad, and so does Jacob. And Jacob ends up throwing the dog food bowl at Rose and gets food in her hair, which is, like, really fucking mean. But, like, they've been really antagonistic towards each other this whole time.
Yeah, but, like, they've been playfully antagonistic.
No, aggressively antagonistic. Okay. I'm sorry, I've not made that clear. I didn't want to write all the dumb blonde jokes because I don't think they're funny.
What does that even come from, though? I don't know. Like, what?
What?
Because it's also not men, too. Like, that's not a stereotype for men. Nope. So where...
The stereotype for blonde men...
is...
icky. Let me keep going.
Blonde men with mustaches, don't trust them.
Bella wakes up...
I'm sorry, wait. If you're at home, and you're blonde, and a man... shave your mustache if you have one.
Yeah, honestly, like, if you want women to trust you, you've got to shave your mustache.
It's gotta go. Full beard or nothing.
Yeah. It can't just be a mustache. You have to go full mustache and beard, the works, and you gotta, I'm sorry, those
are the rules.
Bella ends up waking up after he hits Rose with the food bowl.
Yeah, that would be a little bit distracting.
Yeah. And, you know, they start gabbing, and Bella says that the baby reminds her of Jacob, which pisses him off, because what doesn't piss him off?
Yeah.
But Bella says, like, no, it's more like in the growth spurt aspect. Like, this baby is growing up like it's no one's business, just like you were. Like, every single time I saw you, you were a different height, and now you're 6'7". Like, yeah. And Carlisle's talking to them, and he's like, I think the baby and, like, Jacob are very similar types of creatures, and I would love to do science stuff on them. And then...
Give me your piss, give me your blood.
Yeah. Edward and Carlisle start to, like, talk about this kind of stuff. But Bella and Jacob just chill, and they're like, okay, what the fuck are they talking about? Give me your blood. And Jacobs comes to...
that would work, too, for some samples.
Jacob comes to the realization that if his teeth are strong enough to tear through vampires, the babies might, too. And that is how Jacob realizes how they're planning on getting the baby out.
What do you mean?
They're going to rip her open with their teeth.
Why would they do that?
They can't get into the amniotic sac. It's like their skin.
Yeah, but up until then.
They use a scalpel up until then.
Yeah.
And then they do that.
All right.
You good?
Can you just... Question.
Okay.
For during a C-section, can you just take the whole amniotic sac with the baby in and out?
Well, I think at that point, hasn't the water broken?
Usually.
Yeah, so they call them mermaid babies, and they're very rare.
I think this one will survive the operation.
I think this one will be fucking fine. Yeah. This demon baby will be chill.
Yeah, out of all the mermaid babies, this one's gonna be fine.
Yeah, so that's apparently what they're doing.
Okay.
Chapter 16, Jacob wakes up and heads out, and they do a run to make sure it's safe for the Cullens to go hunt. They realize that Edward and them are safe to travel, and Leah and him talk. And Leah's like, hey, seriously, I have to have a serious talk with you. She's like, I really think you're a good alpha. I want to thank you for everything that has happened since it's been like 2 or 3 days.
You're like a very strong, super buff alpha man.
Super buff, strong alpha.
That, like, he gets all the women he wants, really.
Except for Bella.
But he's a big, strong alpha, and alpha, big, strong, and so good and strong and big and alpha.
She thanks him. Shut up. She thanks him for being kind enough to let her stay around and being nice to her. And he's like taken aback by all this. And ultimately, she's like, I would like to stay with you after everything is done at part of your pack. Mm-hmm. I'm happy. I would love to stop changing as soon as I possibly can.
Yeah.
Seth hops in. He's like, I want to stay too. And Jacob's like, what the hell? This pack is not a pack. Like, we have one mission, and then after that, we're done, and I'm going full wolf mode, and I'm leaving. Seth has to graduate high school, and Leah's like, I agree with you. I was on my way out. Like, I was going to try to leave the pack as much as I could before, like, this has happened.
Did Jacob finish high school?
No, not yet.
Okay. Well, he's not planning to because he's going wolf mode. Yeah,
so he's not planning to. He's planning to go wolf mode. And Leah's like, I was planning on heading out as soon as possible. Jacob's like, okay, like, I'm hearing you. Please give me some time to think about it first.
Is it because it fucking sucks shit for her?
Yeah.
You think that's why she doesn't want to be a werewolf anymore?
Mm-hmm. And Jacob thinks about it, and Leah's kind enough to not, like, interrupt or think about her own stuff too much. And after Seth goes to sleep, Jacob and Leah talk. And he's like, you might not want to stay with me after Bella's gone because I'm going to be a fucking wreck. Like, my thoughts are going to be disgusting.
Yeah.
And she's like, go ahead.
Also, is Leah the only werewolf that has tried to control their thoughts before? Because this is the first time hearing of it.
Yeah, I think so. I think she's a lot more cognizant of everybody else's fucking emotional needs because, you know, she's a woman and women are only allowed to do that via Stephanie Myers. I know plenty of women who are not cognizant of emotional needs. Yeah. But, yeah. Leah says, like, my thoughts are really bad too. Like, you've heard them. I would rather be in yours.
Yeah.
And they joke about Rosalie. And Leah ultimately says, like, I get Rose's perspective. And Jacob's like, okay, I don't want you. And she's like, no, give me fucking 5 minutes to explain this to you. I understand being a genetic dead end. So now we're going to talk a little bit about, like, infertility and stuff and how that's affecting Leah and Rose. And I'm going to say I've never experienced it, but I've heard that it can be devastating if you do want a child.
Yeah.
If you have wanted a child. Or haven't even had the time to really think about wanting that.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Like, even for... It's worse for women.
Yeah.
Like, societally worse, like... And, like...
Yeah.
It's just...
There's a lot riding on it. On your ability to have a child.
Yes. But it's bad for men too, and it's just like you can go your whole life without like even thinking about wanting kids, and then you learn you're infertile, and it's a huge blow.
Yeah, devastating. And I mean, Leah's young. She's what? Sam's maybe 20, so she's maybe 21 to 19 to 21, that age range.
Yeah.
But she was with Sam for a long time, so I'm sure they had discussed the possibility of having children.
Yeah.
Or at least I would hope so, since they were planning on getting married.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to talk about her for a little bit. So she says that like when she joined the pack, none of the boys would bother dealing with her female stuff. All the boys were like full on panicked when she joined the pack. They didn't want to listen or focus on her. They didn't want to like even acknowledge her, which is like horrible in and of itself. Like that's not a way to treat somebody.
And like, a very cool way to handle your problems too.
Super awesome. They didn't want, okay, so she figured out that within like a month or two of becoming a wolf, that her body was no longer following normal patterns, which means she was no longer getting her period through a monthly cycle. And this to her, meant that she probably couldn't get pregnant.
Because it's tied to the
moon. You're horrible. And she was devastated by this information.
Yeah,
as a lot of people would be. You know, some people are totally fine when they find out they're not able to get pregnant. It is what it is. Yeah. But Leah was devastated. And Jacob was like, he doesn't really know what to do. And Leah's like sitting there and she's like, do you know why Sam thinks we imprint? And the thought is to carry on the superior genetic line, which is eugenics.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah. She then says that if she was any good for that, Sam would have imprinted on her. Mm. Therefore, her conclusion is that she cannot pass on the genetic line, which is, she brings up Rose again. And she's like, I understand why Rose would act the way she is right now.
Yeah.
And this, again, disgusts Jacob. And he's like, what? He says, since when are you a breeder?
Whoa, dude.
Comes out of fucking nowhere.
Dude, that is not a cool thing to say during someone's infertility talk to you.
But Leah like comes back and she's like, all I want is to have the option.
Yeah.
I would most likely do the exact same thing Rose is doing, just as Rose would do the same thing for me, and as she would do the same thing for Bella. Mm-hmm. You know, if any of the three of them were pregnant, Leah feels confident that the other two would react in the same way.
Full support, yeah.
So he's mad at this, which I thought that was very adult for this book. Like, that's a freaking heavy discussion.
Yeah. And the only, like, good discussion of a heavy topic so far.
Of course, Jacob gets mad and goes back into human mode because he doesn't want to even think about their conversation, which is really annoying because, like, Leah just put her whole fucking heart on the table.
Yeah.
Her whole life story that he already knew is the thing.
Yeah.
He couldn't have not known this because he's been in her thoughts since she turned into a wolf.
Mm-hmm. And experienced this with her.
Mm-hmm. Experienced this with her, but he had been ignoring it for so long.
Yeah.
Just like they all had. Which is, I know, it makes me really upset.
Yeah.
But Alice greets him at the house, and the day is early, and even though Bella's asleep, she should be asleep. She's upstairs getting another x-ray because they thought there was a possibility of her pelvis being broken. Oof. But it wasn't.
That's a hard fucking bone to break. Like, not even like one, it's hard to break if you're healthy.
She's not right now. But yes, I hear what you're saying.
But it's also just fucking like
it's an intense bone to break. Yeah.
Yeah. Injury.
Yeah. When Bella comes back down, she's excited to see Jake as usual. And Jake informs Carlisle that he's good to go hunt. And everybody goes but Rose and Edward. Jacob kind of makes fun of Rose and Bella and gets a little fussy, but Bella doesn't want Jacob to leave. And both Jacob and Edward are pissed about this, like not wanting him to leave, but like literally who cares?
Yeah.
But then out of nowhere, Edward's like, what'd you just say? And everyone's like, nobody said anything.
We're all being silent, dude.
And he's like, Bella, what are you thinking right now? And she says like, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, he can realize he's hearing the fetus, the baby. And it's actually the first time he refers to the fetus as the baby. Well, they have a very distinct, like, some of them are calling it the fetus and some of them are calling it the baby, which...
So once he knows it's a person, he's calling it the baby.
Yeah. And he's like, Bella, keep talking. It really likes the sound of your voice. And he like is translating, and which I think is super sweet.
Yeah.
And, you know, Edward's like, the baby's really happy, and Bella's gleaming with happiness and starts crying, which I would do.
Yeah, if you were like, hey, here's your baby's thoughts right now.
The baby that's killing you, she's aware it's killing her. She's like, the baby's happy and it loves me. Oh my God, that would change my life.
Yeah.
Bella then calls the baby EJ, and Edward's like, who the fuck is that? And she's like, oh, like, if it's a boy, I was going to name... Here we get to the names.
Yeah.
I was going to name him Edward Jacob. And then if it was a girl...
Horrible name.
I was going to call him Renesmee. Again, another horrible name.
Oh, yeah. Both. Okay, first, Edward Jacob. What? You're making this baby a junior? And second, you're naming your baby after your fling? Yeah, your BFF who's in love with you, but you love him, but not enough. Yeah. And then Renesmee.
Renee and Esme. I honestly do think it's a pretty name, but it's such a fucking mouthful. Yeah. It sounds like something like somebody would be named in the late 1800s, early 1900s.
Yeah.
And I do think it's a pretty name, and I'm a big fan of non-traditional names, but it is a mouthful, and I can't spell it right. It's got 2 E's at the end. I don't like that. Okay. Edward says the baby adores her, loves her, and Jacob gets mad because he was relying on Edward to hate the baby as much as he did. But now that Edward could hear the baby's voice, he feels betrayed because they're like a big family again, and they're all cuddly and lovey.
Oh my God, Jacob.
I know. So Jacob gets mad, and Edward throws him a set of car keys and tells him, like, you should probably get away from this situation, which is big of Edward, you know. So Jacob gets mad, and he gets in the car, and he's like, oh shit, like, I'm so mad, but like, this car's fucking cool as hell.
This Volvo?
No, it's an Aston.
What the fuck is the point if it's not a Volvo?
Let me get through it. It's an Aston Martin Vanquish.
I guess that's a cool car, but it's not a Volvo.
It's not a Volvo. And he's excited to be in this car, but he's mad. So he's driving like a crazy person, and he's like, he's turning south, and he's just trying to get away. He decides to drive to the most crowded spot he can think of because he wants to imprint on a woman and make all of these pains and thoughts go away.
Cool idea. Cool incel.
Yeah, very incel vibes. One girl approaches him, and she's like, hey, I really like your car. And she's like really cute. But Jacob is not having any imprinting or like any other feelings from her. But he wishes he did because like...
Sorry, I don't want you to be the mother of my children. Get away from me.
Yeah, my instincts are saying you're not allowed to be the mother of my children. Sorry.
Yeah.
He then decides, like, after this, that he is going to let Leah vibe with him because he understands how hard it is to love somebody who doesn't love her back. I would like to, again, remind everybody that Jake is 17 years old.
Yeah. Oh, woe is me.
Leah has actually been in a long-term relationship with somebody who, out of nowhere, from her perspective, fell in love with her cousin.
Yeah.
Her best friend and cousin.
And then her cousin was like, yeah.
Yeah. Even though she tried not to, she did.
Yeah. Well, hey, she got a fucked up face out of it, am I right?
Well, that's what that was Bella's response. Where am I? He heads back to town, and you can see, like, the other wolves on the side of the road. They're, like, really scared for him. And Edward is there waiting for Jacob in the garage. He has a few things to say. He says Leah's in trouble, and if Jacob can't control her, they will ask her to leave. Apparently, while Jacob was gone, Leah phased and yelled at Bella that Edward believed she was unnecessarily harsh by telling Bella that she needs to let go of Jacob. But Leah was saying things that were uncalled for from Edward's perspective, and Jacob's like, whoa, like, that's insane. Like, I'll talk to Leah, but I won't use my alpha mode on her.
Mm-hmm.
And Jacob wants to talk to Bella, but starts thinking about the baby. And Edward is happy because apparently the baby has remarkable mental development.
Maybe because it's growing at 1 billion times the rate of a normal baby.
Yeah. The baby has a sense that it's hurting Bella, and it doesn't want that.
Okay.
And Edward is anxious because Carlisle's not home yet, and he's like, the baby's really developed. I'm trying to, like, persuade him to deliver the baby as soon as he's back. Like, it doesn't have any more room to develop.
Mm-hmm.
And
you grew on a toddler there.
Honestly. And Edward has changed his mind because he believes Bella will survive this as well. This is going to be kind of hard this next chapter and a half.
What are we talking about?
The delivery.
Okay.
Which is just harder for me, just because I feel her pain. I've never delivered a baby, but...
Well, you delivered a kitten.
That's true. I did deliver a litter of kittens.
Yeah.
One of them almost. The mom gave up on one of them, but I wouldn't.
Yeah.
So she survived, which was nice, and she got adopted.
Yeah.
What was her name? Grateful or something like that.
I forget.
We called her Gray Kitten. Gray Girl Kitten.
Great girl.
When you have, like, more than 4 cats, you're like,
Yeah.
whatever color you are in gender, that's probably what I'll call you.
Yeah. It sucks when there's, like... Because we had a litter of all black kittens.
Oh, our sweet boys, yeah.
And all of them were boys.
Yeah.
And then we actually had to learn their names or some shit like that.
But they were cute, the pastry babies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Edward says he's very sorry for Jacob's pain and that honestly, like, he feels really strong that Bella will survive. Edward then asks Jacob, who is technically the rightful alpha of the pack, he says, I'm asking you permission as Ephraim Black's heir. Can I change Bella? I want our alliance to survive. And Jacob can't even respond with words, and he just, like, thinks, blah, blah, blah. But Seth shows up, and he can tell Jacob's upset. And Edward says, like, to Jacob that Seth has the most purest, kindest, sincerest minds he has ever heard. I'm like, stop.
Seth just vibing.
He's so sweet. And he was played, his name is Boo Boo in real life.
Adorable name, love it.
Let's see, his name is Boo Boo Stewart. And he's really cute, but he was in X-Men Days of Future Past, which is one of the reasons I stopped watching.
What?
The X-Men movies.
Yeah, who was
Days
he in
of
that?
Future Past. I don't know who he was in there, but he's just a sweetheart. Do you remember him from the movies? Can you see the picture on my screen?
Yeah.
Sweetheart. Okay, where am I now? So Jacob finally has the right of mind to realize that Bella will still be Bella when she's a vampire. Duh! Duh! And grants Edward permission to change her. And, you know, they're hanging out in the living room. Bella realizes she wants more to drink. And she's like, no, guys, like, it's okay. I'll get it myself. And she ends up dropping her cup. And she bends down to pick it up. And then there's this horrible ripping sound from the center of her body. And she falls limp. And then she screams a scream of complete agony and vomits a fountain of blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If the baby was like, hey, no warning, I'm out.
Yeah. Well, it's not out. It's because chapter 18 is the delivery. She's looking completely unconscious, shivering. This is still in Jacob's perspective of her giving birth or having the child ripped from her uterus. No, her womb. It's not like vibing in her uterus. Anyways, she looks completely unconscious, shivering, spasming, and both Rose and Edward are like frozen until they like fucking kick it into gear. They get the morphine and they're worried because the placenta must have detached, which means the baby is now suffocating. And Bella wakes up and she can hear that the baby is suffocating. And she's like, get him out. He can't breathe. Get him out. That's like her number one priority. And Rose takes over to get him out, but she gets too overwhelmed by the blood and has to leave. After Alice and Jacob knock her out. Well, Jacob is like, good job for Blondie because she didn't fight back.
Yeah.
She went to a frenzy, but was like, I'm fucking take me.
Yeah.
Then Jacob...
Did they just literally punch her in the fucking head, or...?
Well, Alice ends up, like, pulling her out of the room.
Oh, okay.
Jacob is ordered to do CPR while Edward is getting the baby out. And Edward performs an emergency C-section.
Okay, wait. Why is CPR happening?
CPR is happening because her heart is becoming fainter and fainter. They can all hear her heart.
Oh, okay.
They've given her morphine, and Edward was worried, like, he's like, the morphine hasn't kicked in yet. And she's like, get the fucking baby out of me.
Also for the people at home, CPR is not for shits and giggles.
No.
If you don't know CPR, don't do CPR.
Yeah. But the baby, Bella knows the baby's dying, so she doesn't care about her own pain and suffering at this point.
Yeah.
So he's doing CPR to hope the morphine will continue through her bloodstream if her heart, like, gives out a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So she doesn't go into enough pain that she goes into shock and dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Edward performs the C-section. He first makes an incision with a scalpel and then uses his mouth to open the amniotic sac. And he pulls out the baby, and her name is Renesmee. It's a little girl.
Have you heard about, like, the layers and stuff and how they
I have.
address each one? It's crazy surgery.
C-sections are the sawbones.
Yeah.
If you haven't listened to Sawbones and you're interested in medical history, it's really good.
Yeah. You would say it's a misguided tour of medical history.
A misguided tour of... Yes, you're right.
A marital misguided tour of medical history.
No, that's still wrong. But yeah, the person who did it was either... The person who created the cesarean section was either a transgender man or somebody who just knew that living in a man's world, she had to be dressed as a man. Yeah. So
she either Mulan'd it or
was a transgender man.
Was a man.
Yeah. We can't ask her. She's dead. Yeah. So okay. Anyways, Bella's like, please let me see the baby. And, you know, he gives her the baby and she holds her and she's like, wow, she's beautiful. And then the baby bites her. And then Edward takes the baby back because her heart has stopped.
Oof. And
Jacob is giving CPR. Rose is back and takes the baby, and then Edward pulls out a syringe full of his venom, and he just stabs it right into her heart. And
wait, so they can milk?
I don't know how, though. I literally cannot figure out how he got that.
Like a snake.
From what?
Do you know how you milk snakes?
Yeah, I want you to stop saying milk snakes.
Why?
I don't like it.
But they like put a little elastic thing on a cup and have a bite it, and they inject venom into it.
Yeah, I guess that's what happened. So, if your question was, can we milk Edward?
Yes, is the
but
answer.
not in the way you were probably thinking.
But also in the way that you're probably thinking, because there's a baby now.
Yeah. He orders Edward to keep going full on the CPR, and Edward keeps giving her small bites at, like, pulse points, like, on her wrist, her, whatever this is called, elbow.
Yeah.
Well, you have to say it, Justin. I know you can see me pointing at it.
That's what I'm looking at.
And then all of a sudden, there's nothing. And Jacob is mad because she must be dead. And Edward is not giving up. But Jacob turns around and walks out slowly.
He's like, peace.
He finds Rose, who has the murderer in her hands. She is still nursing it with blood. And Jacob is furious. Heat is going through him. He feels like he's about to change. He wants to kill the murderers, what he refers to the baby as. But he's being drawn to the baby, and he's like, yeah, my instincts want to kill this baby. And then he looks in her eyes, and they're the same color as Bella's. They're milk chocolate. And he's no longer burning with heat. He's glowing. Because he motherfucking imprints on this little tiny baby who just got ripped from the womb. And now there is nothing holding him there besides her, Renesmee. And as he has this realization, another one hits him, a new heart being changed. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I know.
I almost threw up and died.
Why does Steph think that's okay?
Yeah, why?
Like, why?
Like, he could have fucked off into the wood for a couple months till where, like, she looked like she was, whatever, 16?
One?
Yeah.
Well, she takes about 4 years to reach an adult size.
Okay. But, like, still. It didn't have to be right fucking out.
And
this child is 0.
Literally. And again, thinking about how, like, Leah and Sam and all the wolves think that imprinting means you're going to produce the most, like, effective children, I guess.
Yeah.
Means that they're gonna have kids. That is what imprinting is.
Yes.
So Quill imprinted on a 2-year-old.
So they're gonna have babies.
And Jacob just imprinted on Renesmee, a newborn, so they're gonna have babies. Which also implies that Renesmee can have babies as this half-breed.
Yeah.
I don't like using the term half-breed. We're going to finish one more chapter because this next book is what it's called, is in Bella's perspective.
Okay. So it's like another book that has books inside of it.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is,
What
babe.
am I thinking of?
I don't know. Like parts?
No, there's like books that have books in them.
I don't know. I don't know the words you're
It's
trying
a
to
classic literature one. I
Ew.
just don't remember.
We start with another quote, and then Justin's favorite, a preface.
I'm about to preface.
It's an Orson
In
Scott
my
Card
pants.
quote. And I know I'm doing Ender's Game soon, but I want to note that here and now that Orson Scott Card is insanely homophobic.
And like a fucking asshole. You were telling me about
I know. But he believes that same-sex couples should not be married and that homosexuality is only a byproduct of child abuse.
Oh my goodness.
He is also a huge racist and not very fond of human rights. And
Jesus
he had this
Christ.
quote that made me giggle so much. I'm going to go over it a little bit more in our Ender's Game episode.
His quote is, why do women think they need a vote?
Literally. No, he wrote, where is it? I really liked it.
Liked it or?
No, I really thought it was funny. You know how people are like, I'm a fiscal conservative and a social liberal.
Yeah,
Or something
lying,
like that. Yeah,
yeah.
lying. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Instead of that, but we know he's really racist. He has described himself as a moral conservative. Which is like the least good way to describe your view
Oh
on
my God.
morality. Especially nowadays. Like, it's just funny to me. So... He's not a Trumpster, but he did vote for Trump just because he was a Republican.
Yeah, conservatives being the most moral people in the U.S.
So I just thought that was a giggle, and I'll go over it more, but he's also Mormon.
Also, if you're offended by us saying that Trump's a fucking moron,
Oops.
leave.
Yeah.
You can go.
All right, the preface is that they are going to die again, because when aren't they? But the Volturi are coming, and this time she's gonna fight.
They're coming.
I'm gonna punch you right in the boob.
Meow, 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 meow. Good cum joke.
Chapter 19, she is in pain. Pain. That's all she feels.
Wait, should we tell your dad that the babies should not listen to this one?
Shush. She's in pain. She feels like she's being cut in half, but she can't move.
Because she was cut.
Yeah, because she was cut in half. Yeah.
And ripped in half.
And she's got morphine going through her veins. This is just a lot of description, but basically, she remembers she was worried about the baby dying inside of her. She's numb, can't move. All she remembers is that the baby is a girl. And then she remembers that, like, nothing more than trying not to die and waiting for Edward to keep her alive. And, she does die for a minute, but then she comes back, and the pain she feels second is the worst than anything she's ever felt because she can't move because of the morphine. But not only that, her mind is so clear that she can think of everything.
Does morphine do that?
I don't know.
I don't think it has any paralytic effects.
The morphine was something that Carlisle had tried with Emmett and had theorized would work for reducing pain, but Bella is like, it does not.
It just makes me not thrash around.
Yeah. But she's just like very glad in this moment that Edward cannot read her mind.
It's like one of those things that like what is it?
Mm-hmm.
Where they're like, babies don't need medicine. They can't feel pain. No, they just can't tell you.
They just can't tell you. Eventually time starts to mean something again, and she knows her body is able to start moving because the morphine had gone away, but she says she's like keeping her body in line because she still refuses to scream or move. So she's now like controlling herself so much that even in this pain, she's refusing to move.
Which is a response.
Yeah. And pretty fucking good, might I say. She doesn't want to hurt Edward more than she already has, is what she's doing. She overhears Edward and Carlisle talking about some sort of situation. The imprinting is what it is. And Edward says he's going to wait for Bella to wake up because maybe they can do this without bloodshed.
You imprinted on my daughter?
Imprinted on my daughter? That's actually like 2 chapters away.
Oh no.
Alice comes in and says that Bella is almost there with them. She can see her a lot more clearly. That Alice is pretty fucking pissed to know that her own nature was handicapped because she can see her own kind a lot more clearly than she can see like humans or the half like werewolves and baby.
Why did they make Kristen Stewart talk like that?
I don't know.
And ultimate, like...
The same way they made her play straight, like, good try.
Yeah, like, also, that's not, like, her voice at all.
No.
So they were, like...
Talk like
that.
this, yeah.
Yeah, feeding that.
Bella's in so much pain, her heart is on fire. And Alice comes in and gathers the other, but Edward requests that the baby be kept away for now, because so she doesn't, fucking murder the baby, because she has blood in her. But then Bella can feel the fire reach her heart, and her back arches non-voluntarily, and she's like pissed. She's like, fuck, it broke rank. But then there's nothing, no breathing, no pain, and then she's finally able to open her eyes. And
is she a vampire?
She's a vampire, and that's where we're going to stop for today. What do you think?
This shit just gets worse.
I know. We still have a lot to go through.
It's surprising how it just keeps getting worse.
I know. The imprinting on the baby is just like... unnecessary.
You didn't have to put that in. Like, you fully didn't have to put that in.
I get writers being able to put weird stuff in, but it's not even like it's a real plot point, honestly, because like the next things that happen, Jacob being imprinted on the baby doesn't matter.
Change it, yeah.
It wouldn't have changed the next outcome.
Yeah.
The only thing it changed is that instead of being a bitch baby and leaving, is Jacob can now vibe with them still.
Yeah.
I would have been fine with that not happening.
But you could also, like, figure out another fucking way to do that.
Send Jacob to therapy, or, like, have him have a change of heart like he did when he was old. So I'm like, wait, we can't kill Bella.
Yeah.
You were gonna kill her that morning.
Yeah. Or, like, make one of the wolves in his pack have such a strong emotion that he can't, like, betray them or something. Like, so many cool things could have happened besides, like, implied pedophilia.
Yeah. And of course, Steph and the characters are like, it's not even like that. But it is, though. Because you literally said that the reason people imprint in your pack is to produce stronger babies. What the fuck? That's positive eugenics.
Yeah.
Like that.
Okay, by positive eugenics, you mean...
No, there's positive and negative eugenics. Positive eugenics is matchups of like people they think will create a more superior race. And negative eugenics is getting rid of people or sterilizing people you think do not count in that.
So it's like how the Nazis killed the Jews. That'd be
negative eugenics.
And then it would be
Jacob
like how...
imprinting on renesmee is positive eugenics.
No, and it's like how the Nazis only bred superior children, quote unquote, would be positive
eugenics. So... Well, that's our history.
Wait, did I use the Nazi twice?
What?
Weird.
Nazis are kind of crazy. Okay, so that's what we're going to go through today, Justin. How are you? Like, I know that was a lot, but like, what are you feeling? Are you ready for the next couple of chapters?
I'm ready to get done with this shit.
I know, me too. I really want to move on to Hunger Games, but we can't just like leave not only us hanging, but like folks hanging,
Our fucking homies at
our
home
viewer,
that are listening right now.
Well, maybe people view us on
that would give us good kisses.
Well,
we'll give them all good kisses.
As long as they're okay with that. And if you're not, like, we'll just like throw you an air high five.
Yeah. Probably. You get an air high five or kisses.
And I totally understand if none of you want kisses and all you want is air high fives. But all right, so thank you so much for listening to us. We greatly appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Follow us. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to do it.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
no, go right ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, we're on YouTube at Reading Held Hostage. We're on Instagram at Reading Held Hostage. We are on Twitter at Reading Hostage.
Good job.
And
can shoot us an email.
Yes.
At Reading Held Hostage.
Yes.
Let us know if you want us to read something special.
Mm-hmm.
Turn on your post notifications if you want.
Oh, and tell Blue that you want to hear us do Harry Potter.
I want to do Harry Potter, but it's such a fucking commitment. This was 4 books, and we've lasted... This is going to be 20 episodes of Twilight.
Yeah. So tell Blue you want Harry Potter so you can do it.
I will eventually do Harry Potter, but we also want to thank the Cincinnati and Hamilton County Public Library
Yeah, they got our flyers up.
Yeah, they got our flyers up. I also, use the library to read. I don't own all these. I own a lot of these books, but I don't own all of them. And, go through like Libby, the OneDrive stuff. It's free and it's better than giving some money to Bezos. So.
And Blue does a lot of audiobooks through them as well.
I do a lot of audiobooks.
And that's pretty standard throughout the U.S. I was looking at it and like
audiobooks
are pretty standard in libraries now.
Yeah, so if you want, it doesn't have to be the Cincinnati, but your public library near you, the app is called Libby. They're not giving us any money. I wish they would, but they're not.
Yeah.
It's LIBBY, and you can get like free audiobooks for, the same amount of time you'd take out a library book.
Yeah. I mean, unless you need to own a audiobook forever, it's perfect.
It's yeah. So highly recommended, and thanks to specifically the Cincinnati and Hamilton County Library for putting our flyer up. And that's all I have to say. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Cream cheese is like butter but cheese.
Shut up about cream cheese. He tried cream cheese for the first time in a long time. This like 2 days ago, and I get a text at like 3 a.m. and he's like, cream cheese is like butter but cheese. And I was like, okay. And then I dreamed about cream cheese when I went back to bed. But this has been Reading Held Hostage. My name's Blue and I love to read.
And my name's Justin. I don't really like it.
Oh jeez. Thank you. We'll see you guys next, or you'll hear us next week.
No, I'm gonna fucking see you.
See and hear you next week.
Oh, Bruno would like Blue's microphone to be a little bit closer to her face.
It's a little close, Bruno. I think they can hear me all right.
Yeah. They said it's not picking you up at the right level.
Bruno, it is picking me up. Come here, hi. Should I sing the little song for the Bruno for the end?
Yeah, for the end.
Oh, that's not the one. He's the Bruno, the baby Bruno. He's the handsome Bruno baby, the Bruno baby. He's the handsome boy. For everybody, our cat Bruno really likes when that song gets sung to him. Okay, Bruno, I gotta get back to the podcast, okay?